few moments later.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick. I'm not a Krusty Krab.
Patrick, that's the name of the restaurant.
Okay. Now alright, guys. Hello! Tonight, we're gonna try something completely different now. I have no clue. We're actually, doing something a little bit different because, Flux had to, get up early for work, I think he said, so...
Yes, this is true.
So, what's gonna happen is if I have the podcast later, I'm gonna combine both this part and the next part together. So you guys are gonna have a long video to watch tomorrow at work. So let me see actually what episode this is on. I'm pretty sure this is 4. I'm pretty sure this is. Alright, so is this 4? Yeah, it's gonna be episode 4. So this is the LOL Podcast Season 2, Episode 4. I'm joined here by Dracos, Jat, Leesman, Isaiah Cummings Bentley. Right? No?
Me?
You're Azale. That's who you are.
No, that is not me.
You're Jat. That's who you are.
That's accurate.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Okay, so I did my LEC predictions already. There's some garbage games this week, man. I feel bad for people in general who have to freaking go and pay for those matches. There's like literally 2 good matches all week. It's like Origin versus G2, and then you have Rogue versus Origin in general. Oof. I'm not a fan of Misfits at all. Misfits look so bad.
Horrible. They pretty much look bad ever since, like, fucking, the group from 2016 left. That's how I feel about it. They've kind of just gotten worse and worse over that stint of time.
I think people, like, really overrated their little almost quarterfinal upset against SKT. Yes, they did play good. I'm not discrediting that. I don't like when people say, oh, they only played good because SKT was choking or, a better Asian team was choking. No, they did play good. It's just that, you do always have to kind of keep in mind that, are you overrating this team, or was it because of SKT actually playing bad? And those are things people never really look at, because I think the issue is why people kind of don't understand why Western teams get called overrated. It's because you're overrating them. Because people need to understand why did this team play bad? Why were they faltering? Why suddenly did Misfits almost beat them in that best of 5? People do this thing where it's like, oh yeah, this person played really good. They put out a really great pocket pick. They were cheesing and shit. And it was like, well, yes, that's true. But you also have to factor in, SKT played like so bad. They
just played bad on the day as well.
Because if you look at the week before, SKT went 5-1 in their group. So
yeah,
this is the same SKT that won MSI previously. They pretty much destroyed Korea that previous split, the spring split. The summer split, they had a lot of trouble. And I understand they were good at what they could do for Misfits, but like let's be honest, guys, they weren't really that good. And I don't like when people overrate various lucky teams, and luck is something that doesn't really happen in League, but it does happen. I'll say,
seldom.
Yeah, it's like very seldom. But luck, I'll say, comes from Albusnock's Luna group and shit. That was pure luck. No one's ever gonna convince me they were good, because dude, I literally had people in my ear in my own town who like League as well. They're like, no, Albusnock's Luna's gonna beat HQK. I was like, okay. Next week, bam, they get blown out their asshole. Like, no, they weren't good. Because this is the thing, is that certain bad teams can get lucky, but when they face an actual team that knows how to, well, basically play the game correctly, when the meta is that way, they're gonna get destroyed. They weren't a good team. That's why they didn't beat HQK. They didn't even win a game. That even more further proves my point. They didn't even win one game. So,
yeah. It's messy, and that's the thing is like that happens with a lot of different orgs.
Yeah, you'll go through this period where it's like, oh, they're actually really good at Worlds. I mean, people need to understand Worlds is literally one tournament. Like, and then what do you think about Worlds in general? Like, people are like saying, Worlds being one tournament means it's kind of overrated because you're not really sending the best team sometimes because sometimes the best team doesn't go.
Well, I feel like this will be a year where I feel like all in all, like the way that for the LCS, for example, like I feel like this is going to be a lot more competitive of a year for North America. Reason being is because I feel like this split between spring and summer, it's going to be kind of where the teams actually get tested. And what I mean is, oftentimes previously, what would occur is a lot of teams were kind of just playing like flavor of the week comps, flavor of the week picks. And, like in this particular season, I feel like that type of stuff is going to falter. I'm not saying it's not going to be viable here and there, but I feel like this is going to be the year where people are going to be very, very tested in regards to like bringing out different type of styles and being versatile with their comps and their teams. And unless they're like really, really strong, like as an Oregon, their players are all extremely versatile. But we've noticed previously that a lot of orgs, especially in North America, that's been the issue where they've kind of every team has had their identity as to what they want to do. But then, with the way league's moving, you've got to be able to play different types of styles or be really, really good at one type of style that like kind of trumps every other. And I feel like now with the way the LCS is set up, with the new schedule, with the way that, there's the removal of championship points, with the way that the gauntlet's been removed, all these types of things, it's actually going to finally get the teams that are the best out there as opposed to whoever got lucky on said day. So I feel like Worlds is going to be a lot more contentious now this next year, especially with a lot of regions kind of seeing, because this is the second year where regions have had their like wake up moment, as to say, because I feel like ever since, this was 2019, 2018, I feel like ever since the initial like, stint of Chinese dominance with fucking IGE, like when they came out on the stage and showed the world the new like era of league, I feel like this is kind of where the second year around, now FPX one is the second year around where kind of these regions are starting to realize like league has changed. It's no longer what it used to be. Like, this whole like you can still play that passive like
macro,
try to figure out like what's going to happen, like progressive game, but people need to realize that people are becoming way better at the fast, like, just take everything and push the leads and like, just choke out your opponent, like play style. And that's just getting pressed more and more and more. If you can't get with it, then, you're not really going to get far. And it just seems like there's a lot of regions that are kind of like coming around the bend, realizing this and implementing their own strategies to become more viable as a team or as a region in that regard. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of those types of changes finally come to fruition in Worlds 2020. We'll see.
Because there was a couple people that were talking about Worlds in general being slightly overrated because sometimes during various specific past years of League, certain regions didn't send their best teams, but still, like, okay, so this is an example that I can give for a lot of the recent fans. Griffin didn't go to Worlds in 2018. A lot of people wanted to see Griffin there. But this is the thing, though. They didn't win enough to get to Worlds. So, that so that doesn't make Worlds worse because a team you like didn't make it there. Like, you see what I'm saying about that? People like twisting things to make things seem better when it's not that way. So I watched this video about someone talking about Worlds being overrated, and I also wanted to take my monitor and break it in half. I was like, so people are saying that better team could have won there. They were, because this team was the best team in the world. Okay, so in context of anybody who's actually has any level of brain, yeah, sure, that's the best team in your region. That's fine. Okay, so why didn't that team get to Worlds then? Explain. So someone should explain that to me. Why didn't Griffin go to Worlds then? If they were that good, they could have obviously beaten Samsung, what's called J, were called Genji at that time. They're still called Genji. What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah.
So it's like, people need to understand, yeah, that team could have been really great in that region, but if they don't go to Worlds, I mean, that's their problem. And maybe they weren't that good. Maybe they just had a really sprint of luck that, eventually, what's that thing that was in Cinderella in Disney, that fucking Cinderella movie? It was, the thing of the movie when the godmother came out. It was, Clock Strikes Midnight. I feel like a lot of clocks strike midnight on some teams. And eventually that clock is gonna go, and eventually, at one point, it strikes out. Just like with Fnatic in 2018 when they were at Worlds, their clock ran out. They weren't. I'm gonna say they were honestly pretty good. There were no way they're gonna be at IG. Not even close. They weren't even on IG's level. So you're telling me they couldn't beat RNG, who beat IG? They couldn't beat the first place teams. How are they beating the second place team? Also, the second place team went 18-1 in both their splits. They were 36-2. They were even better than RNG. It's just that RNG played better as a team. That's the reason why RNG beat them. Oh, and then also Spring, the Shy cut his hand when they have chefs in their own house. I don't know how that makes any sense, but he really did. I was like, what happened to him? So it's like, people need to understand that. I
never understood that.
Yeah, they said he cut his hand. I was like, but they have chefs. What? Did he burn his hand in the microwave? I was like, what? But yeah, people, you gotta understand context of things. Don't always try to make something seem so much better than it actually is, because that's what a lot of people do, and I don't really understand where that comes from, because that's why people can't really understand league achievements, because they're putting so much emphasis on what could have happened rather than what already did happen. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel personally.
Right.
So, let's talk about the LEC matches, because that's what you wanted to go over. LEC, man. Yeah! Perks! Good lord. Man, Misfits, please do something different this week. Holy crap, they were terrible. They literally walked on stage, loaded champ select, walked in lane, lost, got off the stage. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, this is a franchise team? Really?
Misfits is not good anymore. I've said this.
They were
not good.
Where'd you have them when they had that super team last year that failed? For like pre-power rankings.
Honestly, Misfits weren't even on my radar, to be frank with you. Like, I know that sounds really disrespectful, but it's like, be real, dude. Like, who the fuck do they have? Like, what? Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, ever since they got rid of PoE and fucking Ignar back in those days, like, that team has not really been relevant. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like come here and sit and tell you they're past, like, they would never, that team would never break like the top 6 ever.
They're never gonna have that. They're never gonna have that luck again. That was just like, and they played good. I want to put on the stand because they're gonna flame me. They played good. I'm not saying they didn't play good. I'm saying they played good. The issue with that is that, after that point in a career of an org, you would think like, god damn, maybe they can be like G2 Fnatic level. Holy crap. Literally the year later, they've stunk. They've actually just been horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's the first match we got to look at?
So we're looking at Origin versus Rogue, sorry.
Oh, that sounds pretty good, actually. I like that.
Yeah. Those are both, like, what?
Top 4 teams, roughly?
Yeah, top 4 team bracket, I would say.
Ooh. Origin played really well week 1.
Yeah, I feel like Origin consistently has been, like, a 3rd place, 4th place team since, like, the last, like, two years, I'd say.
Who would you go with in this match? I'm gonna say Origin.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying Rogue's bad. Rogue has some really good things going for them.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like Origin has a little bit of a leg up in regards to their roster. And not only that, but just like, even the way they play their macro. Because the thing is like, at least in LEC, from what I've noticed, there's a little bit of a tempo change based on certain teams. And I feel like Origin kind of plays a little bit more of a better tempo match. At least last year when I saw them play. Like, I mean, I know their roster is a little bit different now because of the, Mithy retiring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like, previously, I would say, like, even without Mithy, I think they'll probably retain a lot of that good macro they had last year.
Your mic is kind of shuddering in and out.
Oh. Can you hear me now well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for that moment there, you kind of sound like Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, I was just saying how like
He died, guys.
yeah, I was just hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying how like wait, we're still talking about fucking
Origin versus Rogue.
yes. So like I said, Origin versus Rogue, basically it's gonna come down to if they can still retain that level of macro they had in 2019 season.
All right. What's the next one we got?
So it looks to be that we're looking at a SK versus Misfits.
Oh, shit.
What were we just talking about?
Oh,
I'm just gonna say SK.
I was just gonna say yeah, I'm just gonna say SK. Holy crap! All right, next one.
And then Vitality versus G2.
All right, G2. Shit! Holy crap! Please, people who are in EU, ask for your money back. Holy crap!
Now the next one is kind of where it gets a little bit exciting. Because like I said, I feel like Mad Lions is such a weird org right now. Like that's probably the most interesting org right now for me to watch because, of course, you know I can expect like ridiculous gameplay from watching G2 because they're G2. But Mad Lions is such a weird comp because you know they just came out from their rebranding and franchising that you know LEC did. But the thing is, their comp is just purely like brand new players, and it just kind of like you know blasts me out of the water to realize how good they're doing. Even though they have really only specific players who have made a name for themselves, like only a couple. So it's very wild.
Yeah, they're facing what Fnatic, right?
Yeah. Oh no. They're going against XL.
Oh, that's actually interesting because XL actually looked pretty good in their first week. Like not like insane, but good enough to the point where you know it's a much better roster than what they had last year, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know who I predicted in my predictions. That's gonna sound kind of off. I think I predicted Excel. I think I did. I'll just go with Excel. I don't remember actually, so some people are gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, he cheated." I was like, "No, I don't. I really don't remember actually." Crap. I think I predicted Excel. I'm just gonna go with Excel, honestly.
I think for me, it's kind of a coin toss. I know Excel's been doing well, but like I said, this Mad lineup's got momentum. It's interesting. Not really. I can't really peg them one way or another. So I'm just gonna say, just for balance purposes, I'm gonna say Mad.
Oh dang! He wants to win, and the last one should be Schalke versus Fnatic, right?
Yes. Oh, that's gonna be more of a closer one.
Oh, Forgiven versus Reckless. Dang! Yeah, hell yeah!
God-given has returned.
God-given. He plays Zaya now. He's flexible, guys.
So that's gonna be kind of interesting. Honestly, though, is LSE kind of adopting the same thing that the other regions are doing, which are prioritizing Aphelios and Senna?
Yeah. It's pretty much if you don't ban those two, then you're playing like a utility AD carry, and then if you don't play utility ADC, you probably lose.
I would say it's pretty much just Kate, Misfortune, Ash, and then those two. I would say that's like the main AD champ pool right now.
Good lord, man. They made Aphelios and Senna, and then every single other AD carry technically got power crept.
Yeah, it's very accurate to say that, I'd say.
Is your mic okay?
Yeah, it's just not like I'm like laying in bed talking.
Oh, okay.
I think like when I move, it kind of like so I'm just trying to stay in like one spot.
Okay. I just making sure okay. You're not sleeping with your girlfriend right on video. I'm just kidding. Dang, actually, you want to say Schalke wants to win, but then it's more or less so like god dang, they're like, ugh, man, Schalke, why'd you have to lose 0-2? I don't understand them. I'm gonna say Fnatic because that's the more safe bet. So if Reckless gets destroyed by Forgiven, I could be like, okay, at least I believed in Fnatic to win. I'll just predict. I said Fnatic I said Fnatic in my video, so I'll say Fnatic in this one. I just think that Schalke are a gatekeeper team. I don't think a gatekeeper team really has what it takes to take them down, but hey, I could be wrong. So the next day, actually, it is good lord, you guys don't need to see this. This is actually for me. That's actually for my main channel. Someone's gonna watch that and go, "What the hell is that tab you just opened?" That's for my main YouTube channel, guys. All right, so LEC the next day is starting with Misfits versus Excel. Crap. Riot! Oh my god!
You hate to see it.
I'm gonna.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Alright, Excel, win. Alright. Schalke versus Mad.
Like I said, I can't peg Mad, so I'm just gonna say inconclusive on that one.
I'll just say, I don't know what I said in my video. I forget. Fudge. God damn. I think I was gonna. Did I say Schalke? I'll say Schalke. Whatever. All right. Rogue versus Vitality.
Those are both middle of the pack teams, though. Oh no.
I'm gonna say Rogue. Vitality is so garbage.
Yeah.
Fnatic versus.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, let's give it to Rogue.
Fnatic versus SK. These matches. Oh god. League is killing me. They're killing me. What? I'm spending my hard-earned money for this? For this? What? Man. All right, Fnatic. All right, there you go. The actual match of the week is Origin versus G2. That's actually not.
That's gonna be pretty close. Yeah.
That's pretty close there. I still think G2 pulled out in the end, but I think this will be a very, very close match.
Yeah, because where I see it right now, G2 is the best team, and Fnatic and Origin are kind of like out, an arms race for the second place.
All right, yeah, you get the Caps versus Upset. Yeah, I'm gonna say G2 win. They're gonna be the only undefeated team after this week. Potentially. Maybe Rose gonna sneak up and go, nope, nah. All right, so next thing, what do you want to do? You want to do the LCS match predictions, or you want to talk about something different?
I'm down for whatever.
All right, let's go to the LCS. All right, let's knock off Korea, knock off LEC. All right, so the LCS Saturday matchups are with CLG versus 100 Thieves.
CLG versus 100 Thieves. Dude, CLG is looking like probably one of the worst teams right now.
Oh my god, yeah. They said they played
I'd
bad.
probably give it to 100.
They said they played bad because Crown had to Crown was late and he couldn't. It was basically like Crown got them late. They barely had any practice with them. All right, 100 Thieves. CLG might start off 0-4. Maybe CLG makes a comeback because if you doubt CLG, they do better. But if you predict against them, they win. Man, they're so weird. Oh, good lord. I think CLG might etch out a win against 100 Thieves, though. I'm going to say CLG. All right,
so you feel like they'll actually pull it together?
Because if I predict 100 Thieves and CLG wins, then I can go, oh, I never lost faith in them. That's my strategy. All right, so Dig versus Team Liquid. That's actually pretty good. Kinda. It depends if TL still have Broxa. Because the visa issue thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's so. Oh my god! Just a sec.
Falling asleep there?
No, I have cats and they're freaking out in the living room.
Oh my goodness. I know how it feels, guys. Yeah, so currently, actually, Hedgie is not going to be here tonight because he actually is just coming back from vacation. So Hedgie wanted me to tell you guys his match predictions because if I don't tell you guys his match predictions, he is actually going to, kill me. Just let me know when you're ready. Alright, so Hedgie wanted me to tell you guys that he loves you all and he can't wait for FlyQuest to be 4-0 and CLG to be 0-4. Oh my goodness.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go Tell my cats to fuck off.
You're like, meow, kick in the face. Oh,
I wouldn't say I go that far.
nah, you guys, he doesn't do that. I would never do that. Oh my goodness.
We have viewers from PETA, so we definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. All right, so
Anyways.
Dig versus TL.
So I honestly feel like that's going to be the match of the week because those are the two best.
Team?
Yeah, the two best, like, so, well, not the two best looking teams, but TL, of course, is apparently the best team. And then Dig is, like, doing one of the best right now. Like, I feel like based on most recent results, the teams who performed the best have been Dig and C9. But, of course, people are, like, having TL as, like, favorites just because of their position and the league and, you know, their previous results. So it's going to be a very exciting match because, you know, Dig is the up-and-coming underdog now. And then TL, you know, they have their own expectations due to their previous results.
Yeah, I think it's hard though because TL, which it's people have been looking at these matches with TL weird because it's more or less so, you know, do you count these matches against TL because they don't have their full roster? Because it's more of a lose-lose situation. But I think Dig, I'm pretty sure Dig could edge out a win against them. I'm gonna say Dig for this one.
Yeah, I think the issue with TL is, you know, with Broxa not being here and Fire subbing in, they're not at their strongest. It doesn't matter, like, even though they have 4 out of 5, because Jensen's low-key trolling lately. And then fucking, I'm serious, dude. That game he played with fucking Azir, like, that was horrendous. I think it was like their first game, TL's first game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Dig, like, they just have more of like an identity as a team right now, and the way they play is very it's in theory we never really thought this roster would work out, but it seems to be pretty good. Like the different components complement each other pretty nicely.
All right, now we have C9 versus Immortals.
Pretty sure C9's going to destroy that game.
Good lord, I can't see a way they don't win it actually.
Because C9, like, I'm serious, it's ridiculous. C9 is like playing like a Chinese team right now.
All that early
Like,
game aggression.
Seriously. Yeah, exactly. They're playing like they're an LPL team. And I like it. It's really good.
Immortals look like literally 10th place last week. It was so bad. They're like, well, we didn't have that much practice. Everyone used that excuse. We didn't have that much practice. We got our players in late. All right, so you still suck though. That's okay. So C9 win this one.
The good thing though about LCS is we're seeing a lot of different. There are teams like, cause the thing about LCS for the longest time is there wasn't really that much of a range of differing styles, and now it's like people are actually pushing to play different ways. Like if you look at the way the teams are set up right now, like for example, like Dig, they're playing kind of more of like for the mid game, whereas like C9 and like GGS, those are teams that are doing a lot of early game pressure. And then there's the TL and TSM who always do the same shit as always, which is just trying to scale the team fight. So
they don't want to just do anything differently. They're like, I liked League back in season 5. That's the style I'm sticking with. Even now, it's like, guys, you gotta move on. All right, next match we have Golden Guardians versus Evil Geniuses. Oh my god, what is this? I mean,
so I feel like EG will win, but probably not by a whole lot.
Yeah, I think they're gonna etch out a win. Golden Guardians. I feel bad for Golden Glue. He had his best game against 100 Thieves in his whole career, and he still lost. I don't know. I think he had his best career. He's had his best career. Oh my god, sorry guys. He's had his best game he's had in literally like 6 years in that one game, and it still lost him because he just played it so incorrectly on LeBlanc. So yeah, Evil Geniuses didn't look that good, and I'm even more validated in what I said about them early on, not actually being that good. So yeah, Evil Geniuses are going to win actually. So let's see what we have next for day 2, and then I'll day 2 and day 3 for the Monday matches. All right, so Sunday's match. First one is Evil Geniuses versus TSM. Right.
Okay. So, this is kind of where like
I'm gonna just say undecided.
Yeah, me too. This is where my season 2020 like anxiety has been stemming from. Is this team not? I don't even understand what's going on, but I don't know. It depends. We'll have to see because I feel like what's going to happen with TSM is they're probably doing a lot of like, damage control right now after last.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they put a different showing. I can't really say straight up what's going to happen. I mean, based on previous results, I would say they're going to lose, but I feel like this week is going to give them time to kind of like rethink through what they did, and like they might have a different showing this week. Because honestly, I feel like TSM, like even though they did bad and lost the 2 games, I feel like there were a lot of promising parts in those games that they lost anyways. Like, of course, they did have a lot of like bad, like either draft or mid to late game fights, but they actually were doing a lot of the things that was making them bad last year. They started to improve on a lot of the things that were making them bad last year, but then they were also reliving a lot of the things that were making them bad as well. If that were to,
Yeah, I'd agree.
So what I'm saying is, like, if you remember, well, everybody knows, especially you, because you watch any LCS for a while. TSM has always just been a scale team fight team, like no matter what. So this year with Dardoch, they've actually tried to play the early game a lot, but the issue is now their drafts and their mid to late games are kind of clueless. At least that's what they've exhibited over the last week. So hopefully in this week they change that portion and then keep what they're doing with the early game. They'll probably be a lot more productive and actually find a little bit more success this week. But we'll see what happens.
TL versus FlyQuest.
I don't know. FlyQuest is kind of
iffy.
I really don't care about them right now. I feel like the only reason they won that one is because they let Viper get rid. That's it.
Because they had an easy strength of schedule. This week they faced TL and Dig. So we'll see after this week, are they going to be a top team? So for Evil Geniuses and TSM, I'll just fucking hell. I'll just say TSM. If they lose, I'm gonna have a fit, honestly. TL versus FlyQuest, I'm gonna say TL hands FlyQuest their first loss, actually.
Yeah.
100 Thieves versus Cloud9.
Cloud9.
Yeah. Good lord.
IMT versus GG is probably gonna end up being like TSM.
Let's go to Monday. All right, let's go to Monday's games. I'm not predicting that. No one will make me do that. I'm not sitting and predicting that. That is just, oh god. Whoo! That shit. People, if you're in the LCS and you get to that match, just walk out the studio. It's just not worth sitting there for that. Okay, FlyQuest versus Dig. Not bad, actually. That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, that'll probably be
I'll say Dig.
A pretty eventful one.
Hedgie thinks that FlyQuest are gonna go 2-0. Bro, I think they're gonna go 0-2 this week. I'll say Dig, and then you get the El Clasico matchup that was just an overforced Riot narrative about it being a rivalry, which it really never was, because TSM versus Cloud9 was the actual real rivalry. It's TSM versus CLG. Good lord, man. What is this?
That's gonna probably be another like shit show game. It honestly though, like that's what I'm saying. It could go either way. Like TSM picks up their shit this week and plays how I know they can play. They play the same style that C9's playing. But I feel like they have to clean up their act before they can do that. Because if they clean up their act, then they can just stop these teams the way C9 has.
So you're predicting CLG?
Current TSM, yes. If they pick up their shit, TSM will beat them.
I'll say TSM. All right, TSM, we're giving you some hope in this episode. If you fail us, well, you'll still be with them. I'll just flame them more. All right, so that pretty much covers LCS and LEC. So, is there anything else you want to say before we close out your part? Because I know you got to go to bed.
REP-TSM.
Oh my goodness. So if you could describe one word about that IMT TSM hour-long shit fiesta, what would it be? Just one word.
Sloppy.
I was gonna say clowns, but sloppy clowns. Oh god, they pretty much aced Immortals. Didn't take a Baron. I was like, they can't stop you. They're good lord. They said Bjergsen was sick, but okay. I was like, whatever. Let's just throw all the excuses out there. All right, so apparently that means all of their hands were broken at that point, so that's why they're lost. But it's like, holy crap, the excuses always come out when you lose, but it's okay. So guys, I have to record this part twice, next part, because he had to get up for work early, so kind of want to get him in, get his opinions, and then, well, that's it. Anything else you want to say, man? That's it?
That'll be that, I think.
All right, have a good day at work, man. See you later.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Peace. Peace out, guys.
Rev up those fryers, cause I am sure hungry for one. Help! Help! My leg!
All right, so guys, we are back with the second part of this. So a Flux in Time had to obviously, get in and out because he has to work early. Oh my goodness, Hedgie wanted me to go over his predictions this week. He says can't wait for CLG to be 0-4 and FlyQuest to be 4-0.
Hedge is such an ass guy. This guy has FlyQuest so far down his fucking throat.
I love the guy, man. He's so many hot takes that they're all so hot that they'll burn your freaking hand if you touch them. All right, so he wanted to tell you guys CLG versus the 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves win. Dig versus TL. TL win. C9 versus IMT. C9 win. GG versus EG. EG. TL versus FlyQuest. FlyQuest. TSM versus EG. TSM. 100 Thieves versus C9. C9. IMT versus Golden Guardians. IMT. FlyQuest versus Dig. FlyQuest. And TSM versus CLG. He has at TSM. So, those are his match predictions.
Man, you shouldn't even put his shit up there just because he ain't even here to defend it. He just saying random crap. Then he gonna want to go into the Facebook group and be like, FlyQuest. Everybody want to hear that crap.
Bro, dude, he's a great guy, man. He messaged me right after FlyQuest went 2-0. He's like, I'm a god. I was like, oh my god, dude, it's week 1. Calm down, bro. It is week 1. It is week 1. Literally anything can change.
That's hedgy for you.
All right, so okay. What did you think about the LCS's week 1 matches?
Ooh, well,
that does not sound good.
No, not really. Just I expected more. I expected more out of obviously TSM for one. I expected a lot more from COG. What I didn't know was well, just based off of some of the interviews that was going around, like C9 did an interview where they talked to Fion, I think it was Fion, and Vulcan was pretty much, saying, hey, Fion asked him like, hey, what are some of the teams that you want to look out for? And surprisingly, he said Golden Guardians, which after this week, I could see why. Where he's like, everyone obviously is going to be like, oh, okay, Golden Guardians 10th place, like they're trash or whatever, blah blah blah. But Golden Guardians actually looked at pretty good in their losses, so like I guess they're not as bad as we thought. Like Vulcan was saying that they're playing actually pretty good in scrims, even though they're still going to probably be bottom of the table. Who he said was shit in scrims though was COG. Obviously no one knew that but them because they were scrimming and whatnot. But apparently COG has been getting clapped back to back to back in scrims, which is sad.
Ooh.
Like understandable. I think Crown actually joined these guys probably about 4 days before the LCS started. So obviously he's going to have that issue going into the games. But I assume that they boot camp with this guy in Korea at some point, like before the season started. So I mean, I didn't expect them to be that bad. But then I also heard that a lot of the teams that were going to Korea from the U.S. were getting scrims canceled. So a lot of the teams that they were supposed to be scrimming over there ended up canceling them for God knows whatever fucking reason. Just, I mean, who the fuck wants to scrim COG, I guess, So, I mean, I understand, So, I mean, maybe they had a lot of scrims get canceled, so they didn't get in as much practice as they should have. So, maybe that's kind of why they faltered. But, yeah, just in general, man, like, from the teams I expected to do good, which was C9, they came out super strong.
That was really nice to see. That was really nice.
It was, like, I legitimately felt good. That for the first time in a while, man, that there were 3 winning lanes on C9. You're not starting this match off already knowing that, oh, your bot side is going to be weak. Like, there was none of that. Like, even though I understand, like, it's double lift on center, like, whatever you want to call that, Sven and Vulcan actually were beating double lift on his center. Like, so, like, that felt really good because I wouldn't expect that from Sneaky. Double lift, like, the only thing that got me sort of angry was when they went against Golden Guardians and he was actually losing in CS to FBI. It's like, how the fuck are you up in CS versus double lift, but down versus FBI and Keith? Like, what the fuck is that? But, I mean, I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I understand, like, I see this new meta that's coming about where teams are rotating a lot more. The bot lanes are going, like, because normally it was like, okay, you get that first tower, you're going to rotate top, and that's where you're going to sit your top. I mean, your bot lane is going to go up top and just kind of sit there, farm out the lane, try to get that tower before you inevitably have them sit in mid. And then now, instead of it being like, okay, hey, yeah, we got that first tower, it's more so you're moving them around objectives where, okay, we took the bottom dragon, now we're going to rotate top, have our bot lane sit up top so that we can contest the Herald. And they're just kind of like ping-ponging back and forth to an extent before they actually make that trip to where they just sit in mid. So, I mean, maybe I can attribute that to why he was down versus FBI. Because, obviously rotating, you're going to miss CS a lot. So, there's that. But, yeah, in general, man, like, C9 looked really fucking good. Like, granted, besides Licorice, face planting into that tree in mid-river. I don't know why he did that, considering that you knew everyone was bot lane. The whole enemy team was bot side, but I guess in the comms, it showed that he thought that they were actually on Dragon. So, he just stepped into the bushes to try to go, check that out. But they actually happened to be in that bush, and they got him. Yeah, but besides that, man, like, him getting camped in the Golden Guardians game, like, C9 looked really strong, like, really strong. They seem like the best team as far as macro goes. Like, I can't really fault them in anything. Like, they played the game out pretty well, all things considered, like of every team that was out there. How did you like to see that?
I thought it was great. It was very nice to see them actually just put the haters in their mouth. God, what? You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's the word? What's the saying? Like, shut up the haters, because everyone was like, oh, the team's not gonna work without Sneaky. I mean, I don't even know where people even came to that conclusion. They're not gonna pick random people to suck. I mean, it was very nice to see them actually do well and win in more convincing fashion, because last split they won in convincing fashion against a lot of teams, but it was also good to win against TL, because people said, oh, even with a sub they would still beat C9. And I mean, people downplayed the C9 win anyway because of they had Schernfire, so it's a lose-lose situation until TL gets Broxa. So I can't wait to hear the other excuse TL's gonna have when they have Broxa and still lose. You know what I mean?
Well, I certainly think if they would have had Broxer, there could have been some certain things that might have been changed as far as like pathing, or just, Broxer's just more experienced, so he can see more opportunities to do stuff in certain situations that Schernfire probably wouldn't have. So, I mean, understandably, they could have had those kind of changes, but in all honesty, Schernfire didn't play bad. Like, he was actually doing typical Jarvan things. Like, I expected Blabber to try to like capitalize more on Schernfire's inexperience, but then again, Blabber's also inexperienced himself. But I just thought Blabber's aggressive nature would have done more to try to like hold Schernfire down, considering that he is playing Lee Sin, which is a counter matchup to Jarvan. But he didn't. Honestly, Blabber didn't really do much. Like, I expected a lot more aggro out of this guy, but he just kind of did typical jungle shit. And I mean, I don't fault him for it or whatnot, because I mean, we still got the dub in the end. But it's just surprising. Like, maybe this is like the thing everyone's talking about. Is like, okay, maybe if Blabber just like rings it back a little bit, he is going to be better. Where he's not just constantly hopping out there. And it seems like maybe this is something that they are instilling in him. That, hey, you don't need to jump into every situation that you think will actually be, a win-win for you. Maybe just kind of dial it back and let your lanes do the work for you. And he typically seemed like he did that. He was where he needed to be as far as like counter ganks or covering objectives and all that stuff. So I was really impressed what I've seen from Blabber. I just want to make sure like this is something that continues throughout the split, where he knows how to just turn up the fire when he needs it, or he needs to kind of simmer it down, smolder it. So I was really impressed with Blabber's play. As far as TL, like I said, I don't think Schernfire did bad. I think he actually was pretty good in all categories. It just seemed more so that TL as a whole wasn't really ready. I don't know like what to call that. Like, they just wasn't ready or something like that, because it just simply seemed like, as C9 was just pushing them all over the map. Especially like the fight they had down in Dragon, where TL just constantly just kept losing ground to the point where they're literally sitting in the bot lane because they got pushed out by Veigar cages and all that stuff. And like, no one wanted to buy QSSs. Like, no one wanted to just say, fuck it, like, let's engage and fight this. Like, they didn't do anything. They just kept getting pushed out until finally Veigar catches someone in a cage and one-shots you. And it's like, at that point, like, what was the whole point of even being at Dragon then? Like, why would you dare if you wasn't going to try to do anything? So they definitely seemed out of sorts. Like, what is your opinion on TL?
For TL? Oof, man. Because Doublelift also didn't play that well either, but I think that was covered up by just Schernfire. It's like the instant reaction of TL losing was because, oh, they had Schernfire, this doesn't count right now. But I don't understand how someone could really obviously think that. So it's the same thing with G2 last year, which is what I didn't like, even though I'm their fan too. It's like, they troll, but they win. But what happens if they troll and lose? Do you just say, oh, they were trolling? Like, people are using weird strawman arguments to just discredit other bad play that happened in their team too. So let's just say that Broxa was here. Doublelift was, people need to understand, they were still going to play that way. In general, Broxa was there, things would have been different, but they themselves would have played the exact way in that scenario. So I think right now TL is going to be more or less so the excuse scapegoat team. Like, nothing counts until they get Broxa, which is kind of sad, but that's how most of the community is thinking about it. I don't agree with it personally, you know that, but it just, I can't deal with people when they only beat Cloud9 because they only won but because of, X reason. But the reason they won against TSM was through a solo laner. It's like there's no win-win with people. It's like they want one thing or the other when there's much more different factors to go into why somebody won.
I mean, I think that's completely true because, it's, like you say, it's like, oh, you lost to. I mean, you beat TL. It's like, well, they don't have Broxah, but it's like you lose. It's like, oh, wow, you lost when they had Surenfire. Like they don't even have Broxah. You lost. Like why? Like I do think that's kind of baloney. But I mean, at the same time, it is true. Like they do not have their star jungler coming from Europe. Like that's actually a pretty big thing. So I mean, I don't know. Like, granted, I can say I do think they would have kind of played similarly, but I'm pretty sure Broxah plays the game a completely different way than Surenfire plays the game, and just how they're going to play around him. And as far as things that, like I say, Broxah can do that Surenfire can't do, or he's unable to do. So, like, I can see the game being different. Now, as far as people's excuses, like, I don't give a damn. Like, a dub's a dub. Like, C9 won, or TSM lost. Like they lost. Like simple as that.
People have to factor in. People got to factor in and say, what if C9 lost to TL? Then the narrative is C9 lost to TL with a sub. C9 suck without sneaky. It's like I don't do those scenarios of it's like a lose-lose situation. You have to factor in what went in, but at the end of the day, it's still a win.
Yeah.
But
and it's like, speaking of like
TSM, oh my god,
like just the like transition into TSM, like,
jeez,
man,
wow.
I don't know what I had to, man. Like the game they had against fucking Immortals, man. Riot made Elder Dragon to combat long games. When you get Elder Dragon, you effectively take 20% of every enemy player's HP away. 20%. You can pretty almost say that you make that fight a 4v5 based off of HP alone. And yet, no, they got Dragon and they just kind of like dance the fuck around. Like I just don't get how the fuck you have a 60-minute game in today's meta. Like, I don't know if that's just kind of like the first weeks of LCS where everyone's just always typically slower, where I think the fastest game we had was the C9 versus TL, which was like 20-something minutes. But like everyone else was just kind of typically lingering around that 30-minute mark, and then you have this TSM 60 fucking minutes, man, of just nothing happening. And I don't know whether to praise Immortals for the fact that they were able to come back and take these dubs and have SOAS backdoor the Nexus and all that stuff, or if I'm just going to flame the fuck out of TSM for just allowing themselves to get into that position where they had to do all that shit. Like I don't know. I expected a lot more from TSM, and like though a lot of people was flaming Broken Blade for his Rumble play, which honestly I don't know how good the kid is on Rumble. Like it seems like that's more of a mid lane champ, which Bjergsen should have been piloting, but he was on LeBlanc, which to Bjergsen's to him, like he was playing pretty good on LeBlanc. Like he was trying to get in and get assassinations, but he just couldn't find a mark a lot of time. But then I also liked him doing his split push thing where, he was taking turrets, but it didn't seem like the team knew how to like play around him as far as him trying to split push and then them just kind of stalling out certain things. But it didn't seem like they knew what the fuck they was doing. So you get a 60-minute match with fucking Immortals, which was just goddamn terrible, man. Fucking terrible.
Good lord, man. I could forgive the Immortals match only if I didn't see what happened the next day. Dardoch got ahead on Elise, and people, if you watch correctly, he did nothing. Now, the Dardoch I know back in the day wins the game off that. He just wins the game. Not in the way that jungle carries like it does now, but the way he would play out the game would effectively win the game for his team. I'm not saying TSM ruined junglers, but, I'm starting to see there's some little bit of truth in that, because how do you get that far ahead that early on? And yes, junglers are weak right now. I'm not going to say they're not, but he effectively just did nothing. Like, whatever got in his brain, he just did nothing. I don't care if he couldn't communicate with Bjergsen. He could have communicated with anybody else next to him. Bjergsen was sick. I understand. But, you know, they effectively got a lead and just did nothing. I don't even know why get the lead then? They were just sitting there waiting to lose while Bifrost flung himself in as Leona just to die. This team...
I mean, Bifrost was trying to make stuff happen, but they couldn't. Like you say, Dardoch got them ahead in the beginning. Like, he got, especially bot lane. Like, I don't know how the fuck you kill Double Lift. He TP's back, you kill him again. Like, once that happens, the lane is done. Like, you're done, dog. Like, that lane is fucking over if something like that happens. Like, I don't know how the hell did that happen. They got 2 kills off on this kid, and somehow Kabe was still behind. Like, I don't get that. Like, it got to, like, understandably, they started getting to the point where, okay, they've noticed Double Lift is behind, so TL starts playing more around him to give him more CS. So it got to a point where, you know, he was fuck ton of CS ahead of fucking Kabe because, you know, his laners were giving him more CS and whatnot so that he can kind of get his items, understandably. But I just like the fact that you had him down so far ahead and then just kind of tossed it up later on. Like you say, Dardoch just got to the point where he couldn't do anything. And like I said, I don't know if that's more so speaking on Dardoch's ability or like just what we've seen in the past from him, or is that just the current state of the jungle where I've been constantly hearing that, hey, in the first 10 minutes of the game, jungle is just at the top of the echelon. Like, jungle is jungle. But after that mark, after like 15-minute mark, it takes a plummet. There's a dive down the mountain that jungle role is taking, where it used to be where it was just kind of a slow ways down the mountain. Now it's just straight drops off a cliff. So I don't know if that's attributing to that or just what TSM was doing. But understandably, I feel like at some point in time, at least it's just not going to be able to do anything in a team fight. Whereas you have a Jarvan on the other team who can. Hell, it even got to the point where Ornn was just so big, where he was just such a meat shield that they just... MF isn't going to kill an Ornn. Like, she's not that kind of AD carry. Like, she's not just going to choke him out like that. Like, they needed some Aphelios or Zyra or some other shit. Obviously, they couldn't. But still, Ornn just got to the point where he could just run around and he's just soloing people. He's one person zoning out 3 of the carries and they can't do a damn thing because of their team comp or just comms. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on, man. But TSM, they got some stuff to work on.
And this is after they've been boot camping over everybody else.
Yeah, that is something that was brought up, is the fact that they were one of the teams that went off and did boot camps along with 100 Thieves with the EU. TSM went to China. I think they was playing around with RNG. I think somebody.
Yeah.
But so like, yeah, these kids have been playing together. Granted, I don't know how these scrims have been going. Probably been getting clapped, but I just don't see how you've had all this time and this is the best that you could show on week 1. Like, the TL match I knew was going to be a slugger. Like, TL actually just kind of turned it up in that fucking match. Like, they look really different than what they look like versus C9. So I mean, like, when they started getting the late game, I started seeing the Ornn items coming through. Like, everyone had the fucking inventory just full of Ornn items, and I was just like, okay, like, these guys are probably going to win this game. Like, they're just going to get outscaled, simple as that. So, like, I knew in the late game they was not going to be able to beat TL, even with Fire. Like, TL is just that good. But against Immortals, man,
Immortals actually look like dog shit.
Oh.
I'm not trying to flame any Immortals fans. They look so bad. They're just trash. And that's the worst part about that, is that they're not even trash in the parts people expect. They're trash in the good parts. Xmithie and Soaz. That's the worst thing about that. Because I thought Altec and Hakuo played pretty good.
Fucking, I love that Altec is bringing out non-standard.
Yeah,
he
improved on that. He was not flexible. You know, he improved on that. I liked how he got better, but he's not supposed to be your like the person you play through. Essentially, what happened to everybody said? Oh, it's Xmithie. Yeah, he's so good. Oh, I don't know what int level draft they cooked up in their Immortals camp, but this guy locked in Trundle first rotation without even seeing the other guy's composition. Give me Trundle right now. Dude, he went 0-6. He
picked up Trundle, and the enemy team didn't even have not one fucking tank for him to ult. Like what?
For real, he had no tank shown. This is first rotation. Picked Trundle. This is not like, hey, I counterpicked this guy. He actively picked this himself.
Yeah, I don't understand what that draft was. That was pretty fucking remarkable, man.
Everybody knows I don't flame drafts because that's such a straw man, stupid argument. It's like, oh, their draft. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because drafts are concocted for that team to play out. But that draft itself, in most recent memory, was horrible. That was bad. That's the reason why they lost. I very rarely say teams lose through draft because that's kind of what people who don't understand league say. Oh, they lost because of draft. No, they lost because of other things. But in this specific case, they lost because of draft. It was 4v5. This is how it works. He was useless.
I mean, but to be fair, in Immortals game versus FlyQuest, that was actually kind of closer to the point where FlyQuest almost lost that one, if I remember. Like
they got the dive
Immortals
bot.
Actually kind of.
Yeah, that was the game where they got the dive bot. They got decently ahead. I was like, okay, this is some good stuff. Mid-river fight, Rift Herald, they lost. I was like, okay, yeah, most of our expectations for them probably are going to be coming true.
Yeah. But I mean, just given that they actually were kind of pulling their weight against FlyQuest, and then all of a sudden everyone's just hyped up on FlyQuest. And it's granted, I feel like that game would have been a lot different if they didn't give Viper Riven. Why the fuck? I think teams are just so goddamn disrespectful, man. They are so disrespectful to people's pocket picks, man. I don't know if they just in their mind Soaz was just oh yeah, I can clap this kid Riven. I can clap this kid. He's an NA top laner. No, you don't. No, it's like someone just was not watching the VODs of fucking Viper's Riven. That champ is busted as fuck with that guy. I think he maybe lost one game in the LCS on Riven, but for the most part, this guy constantly carries on that champ. I feel like if you would have just banned that game would have been a lot different. He wouldn't have had as much impact on it. So I'm happy that when, FlyQuest went to get COG the next day, they knew to fucking ban it. No. But COG was always still going to fucking lose it regardless.
Hedgy, FlyQuest, it's week 1. I've seen this before. FlyQuest have good players. They synergize early on. They have decent enough players to get them by. At one point, they will not be good. I don't think they're... I liked Ignar. I thought Ignar played pretty well. Nothing against him. It's just, I don't think that this FlyQuest little honeymoon phase will last. It never does. I've seen this team for literally years at this point. Nothing lasts with them. They're just... They played good. But this week they played Dig and TL, and, I want to know what the excuses will be when they lose. Oh, they didn't give... Oh, XD person make this play. It's... Good lord, man. So what was your worst team outside of TSM or Immortals? A general bad team that you saw? I thought it was COG. Holy crap, yeah.
I think they were the worst out of as much BM as I'm giving TSM. I think COG was the worst team that
I don't know. I'm so blown away. I'm so blown away by how bad.
My dude Crown got killed in the mid lane. And what does Wiggly do? What? Oh my god!
That's competitive. That's literally competitive sandbagging at that point. Literally, walked up and just died.
Dude, the coach should have just came on stage and just slapped the fuck out of Wiggly, man. There was literally no way in fuck, man. I forget who was the caster in that game, but he tried to make it sound he probably was talking to Ruin, and Ruin was like, hey, I'm on my way, and Wiggly's okay, well, I'm gonna jump in and hold him until you, no, don't, there's no excuse. There is no fucking excuse. How do you flash in? What? Oh my, I don't know what that was.
They said that, and then I looked at the map. Ruin is top lane.
Ruin. By the time he died, Ruin had just gotten to the bush in mid lane. But when he flashed in, Ruin was walking by Herald. Like there was no way in fuck he was going to get there in time. I don't know what he expect was going to happen. So not only did you give a kill over, you wasted your flash. Now all your jungle pressure's gone. Like the map pressure's like, oh my god, Wiggly. Like I don't know.
That
it's
was
like I don't.
Most single worst play I think I've seen in the most recent years. That was that's like how I Will Dominate said Ruin trolled him and went like 0-6 and shit as Teemo support. Well, essentially Ruin trolled CLG. I don't understand, because like you can say there's no coach that told you to do that. Your teammates weren't like, yeah man, go. No, that was you did that. And hey, I'll say this, it was pretty funny, but then you look at it and go, wow, he just competitively threw a game. Just competitively threw a game.
Literally running it down. Running it down mid. That's literally what that was. Like that's the highest form. That was wild.
That's LCS for you, baby, right there. That's LCS right there. Your jungler flashes in level 3 Jarvan when the top laner is nowhere near.
It's like I would be okay, man, if he didn't flash. Like, you flashed. What? Oh, that's crazy.
Man.
It's like plays like that. It just makes me question COG at this point. Like, what's going on with the team? What's going on with the scrims? Like, what is going on? Like, I understand, like I said, Crown came in, 4 days before the LCS started, so he's kind of fitting himself into the team and whatnot. How is communication going on with him and Wiggly? Like, are they talking? How is Wiggly with Ruin? Like, what's going on there? Like, is communication being lost somewhere? Like, what's up, man? Because it just there was no part of COG that I thought, oh, Smoothie. Smoothie was the only standout person. Like, I
actually liked what he was doing. What he was doing, if people know how to play support, what he was doing was good. They just are so stupid. Their brains all turned off. Oh my god, CLG.
That's what I said. Like, Smoothie actually was trying to set up stuff. Like, he was trying to get these flanks. He was trying to get these again. He was pretty much like the way Ignar was playing for FlyQuest, which I think he had a really standout performance. Like, he was doing like a lot of crazy flanks as a support on Leona. Like, it was crazy. Like the play that he did on who the fuck was that he did that on? Was it Altec or Sticks? Like, where he was pretty much over the wall and Leona owed some from over the wall. They blast cone over, get that fight going. Like, that was fucking brilliant, man. I love that. Then he had another flank play where he was in mid bottom river and he got a flank around and that was beautiful. And Smoothie was doing the same thing for COG, but COG is a bunch of monkeys. Like, they don't know what to do with what Smoothie's giving them. And it's like, I don't know like I said, what's going on with comms. Like, are people just not fully understanding each other on the team because of, language barriers? But Smoothie, he fucking tried, and everyone else just, I don't fucking know, man.
I don't think Ruin played individually bad, but no pressure from him. Stixay was like the same guy people expect. Like, I hate when people say he's like one of the more better AD carries. It's really hard to give him credit for that when he's playing like that.
It's like, I do think he's one of the better ones, man. But like, he's getting to that realm that I would say Afromu is in, where it's just like he's good at times, and the other times it's just like, I don't know. Like, he's kind of, yeah.
What other team was I disappointed in? I was disappointed in 100 Thieves, actually. Surprisingly, I am just not really into them. And more as I watched their games, I was like, this is, man. I'm so in the middle with them. It's not they're horrible, but it's more like I can understand why people are all over the place with them. It's because you don't really understand what they're even trying to do. Like, Meteos, man, that was his worst week ever.
What had happened? Not what had happened, but what I was noticing a lot, like a fuck ton, was like the communication that was going on. Like, there was a lot of times where fights were kind of starting or seemingly about to start, and Meteos will be out there doing some shit. And then all of a sudden, you can visibly see him stop and turn around to like leave because I guess he's disengaging and whatnot. But then you see someone like Someday jumping in there, and you can obviously tell that that's a miscommunication in comms, because it happened a lot of times where everyone was out of sync. Like some people are thinking that, hey, we're going to back off, and then other people are jumping into the fray, because you'll see like Meteos at one point he'll be running for it, and then he'll stop and turn around, but then all of a sudden he has to turn back around because one of his teammates jumped in or some shit like that. Like he did that quite a few times, which leads me to believe that comms were kind of fucked at some point there with him and Someday or whatnot. Which I guess understand. I didn't think it would be that bad, just considering they played the split together, so he would kind of be good. And I always thought Sunday's English was good, but I don't know. But just in general with the whole team, their communication just seemed kind of wonky, where plays were happening and not everyone was on the same page. And fucking Ryoma. Oh my god.
I'm so in. I'm really in the middle with him. It's like everybody
there ain't no
on
middle
this
here, brother. There ain't no middle here.
There's just the down.
Like I don't think Golden Glue's a bad person. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he actually is pretty decent for what he is. But if you're getting stomped by Golden Glue, like what the fuck does that say? Like you're supposed to be a team that's competing for playoffs and competing for titles, and yet you're getting clapped by Golden Glue.
I'll be here. Hey man, Golden Glue had his best game in his entire career in that game. That was his best game he ever played.
He was popping off on LeBlanc. He was doing some work. Like I was very impressed. This is one of the reasons why I'm not so down on Golden Gardens, because like I seen some good things out of them. Like Closer, I love that kid. Hanser was trying to do his thing. Golden Glue was trying to do his thing.
They weren't as bad.
He was running it down, but they weren't. But it just makes me wonder, like, just like Ryoma, like his Zoe play was horrible. Like I think it got to like 35 minutes, 30 something minutes before that boy crest over 200 CS. Like what the fuck? Like how are you? It's not like he's fed as fuck or anything. So like where is your economy coming from, dude? Like you gotta get some items to try to like impact. Like you're supposed to be this Zoe that's like popping out fucking bubbles everywhere and just like chucking 70% of people HP. But at one point in time, he just couldn't do that shit because Golden Glue was just slapping him and fucking around. And it's like I don't get, like, if you're supposed to be, it could have been stage fright, you know, your first time on the LCS stage, so you was just kind of. I mean, he did look better going against Jizuke, but then again, Jizuke was kind of clapping that boy too. It just seemed like LeBlanc just might beat this boy's counter, like his kryptonite or something like that. Everyone time he goes against LeBlanc, I don't know.
Evil Geniuses. I forgot about Evil Geniuses. Really, really not impressed with what I saw. I know they won against 100 Thieves.
More, yeah.
I was really not impressed. And people call me toxic and shit. I'm like, hey man, you guys are gonna leave C9. I've been a fan of this team for years. For that, all right, cool. You can leave. Bye. I don't even. If you.
I mean, granted, they don't have a choice to. They kind of had to go there, but. I definitely expected them to come out swinging.
I meant like fans. You know, fans are like, I'm leaving. I live in C9. There's no sneaky. There's no vibe here. I'm leaving for Evil Geniuses for that. All right, cool. You can go have your team that's gonna be stuck in playoffs forever and not go to Worlds. I'll keep going to Worlds every single year. I like that. And seen on Twitter, they're like, we scammed Evil Geniuses.
I mean, I expected more from them. I thought they would come out a lot stronger.
Like, you were right. Me and you were right about the Bang and Zazel bot lane.
I didn't think they was gonna do anything, and they didn't.
We said that. They're like, this is not really a good bot lane. This is gonna be a very lackluster one at best.
I don't see what they do together or how they mesh together or any of that stuff. And it's like, I feel like Sven was trying to do Sven shit, which is great, but I just don't think with the talent that's around him, he can pull it off. Like, Kumo is not Licorice. Fucking Jizuke is not Niski. I don't think Jizuke played terrible or anything, like, especially in his game against 100 Thieves, but he isn't Niski. So it's like, and then what, are you going to look to Bang and Zazel? Like, No, you're not. So it's like I see him like wanting to do typical Sven C9 plays, but he just doesn't have that talent on the roster to try to make anything happen. And it's like I don't know if this is just something like that'll probably change like once the split kind of starts getting more and more and more into it, and the team typically gets better. But it's just like I said, the team didn't really stand out. Like at this point, I don't see them as being a playoffs team.
I think they're one of those teams that might squeak in by a tiebreaker. I'm saying like this is week 1, guys, but you know, from what I saw, I think that's who they are. I just think that's them.
Like I feel like they would. Like, I could see them being like on the tip of it, like 7th place tip of it. Just like they might be playing gatekeeper to someone trying to get in the playoffs or something like that. But I don't see them being any higher than 6, man. I just don't see it. Like I don't see it.
Kumo had 2 kills in the past 3 days. He had like 1 assist. So essentially, by his stats, he is just doing nothing.
I mean, I think there was a stat, something like he had a 15% kill participation or some shit like that.
He literally
something ridiculous.
He went with the team in 1 team fight. That's basically what that is.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible. Like that means effectively like you never was with your team to do a goddamn thing. Like that was just it. You couldn't do anything, man. So I understand. Like Kumo, brother. I like the kid. I like that he's. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna be hard on a player who this is your first split. Like you got to learn. You got to get thrown out there to learn what it is and how the game is played and what your role is on that team. Like I understand it's a pretty big change going from academy to the LCS team. So I get it. So I'm not too crazy hard on a guy. Like I want him to take this year to try to grow, get better, you know, find himself on this team and just, you know, see his growth potential within like the next year or whatever. But so I don't expect too many crazy things from him right now. So I'm not gonna be too down on a kid.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, 15%, like that's wow.
The last team we didn't talk about is what are we gonna talk? Oh, Dig. I thought Dig was good. Except I thought Dig was good except for Grig. I think Grig still is like not that good. But I thought they played pretty well, all things considered.
I think Grig was held up pretty well by the rest of the team. Like Hooney wasn't running it down. Like he was actually like doing some pretty good Hooney things. And Froggen, holy crap, Froggen was actually putting on some. He was putting everybody on his fucking back with the Victor. Like oh man, he was doing really well.
If any, like I swear, man, I keep telling people Froggen's not washed up. Froggen's washed up. All he has is bad teams. All right, okay. Meanwhile, they like players like fucking Ryu and Ryoma and shit. All right, okay.
Yeah, Froggen, he was pretty good, man. Like I mean, I was one that was like, Froggen, he's good, but is he really that good? Like this actually showed me, like, yeah, this guy still puts in a lot of work. I didn't know, honestly. This had came out the fact that a lot of people said that they do not like playing with Froggen. They say they don't like the way that he plays the game or his opinion of the game, and just how he plays his lane according to the rest of the team. So this was just something that came out when a lot of people was talking to some of his previous junglers and just some of his previous teammates. Like he has a certain way that he wants to do things, and
that's why I'm not really high on this team, because at some point when they're losing, that's going to be a problem with them.
So I wonder like how that's going to play out later on. Standout person, Johnson. Didn't think that guy was actually going to, like, you know, hold up next week. He goes against CL, double lift. Definitely want to watch that. But just in general, like, Johnson was looking pretty decent. Not sure what the hell, you know, Aframa was putting in his coffee, but the guy was he was pretty well. I didn't think he was going to be too standout, but he actually played the lane pretty well. And then he just kind of seemed like he knew how to play the game itself, as far as like the macro or where he needed to be at certain times, or, you know, how to push tempo and all that stuff. Like he seemed like he was doing really, really well on that kind of stuff, which surprised me.
My standout player,
I was really happy for him.
I'll say Ignar. Ignar was my standout player. I thought he played great all week. I thought he played great, but you know, if you say Johnson, That's fine too. I thought he played great. I was like, who is this rookie AD carry? I was like, finally, there's a god somewhere, people. There is innate talent. You know what happens to that? You gotta actually pick them and play them. It's just how it works.
You kind of have to pick these guys up. Like they're definitely there, man. But it's just like you're never going to get that chance to actually grow. And I can't remember who the hell was talking about it, but they were just talking about. I think it was maybe Monty or somebody. But they were saying that there's just so much talent that was out there that was just kind of thrown to the side because they never was able to be given that chance to come into the LCS and actually grow. And it's like if they did come into LCS and grow, and then they had like a bad split, they were automatically sent back to academy, and then you just kind of like never fucking heard of them anymore. And it's just like they were saying like just so much of that talent was there, and it's like NA would actually have a pretty good talent pool of NA players if you was actually doing that same investment into them as you do trying to find these imports. So I'm happy that they brought up Johnson. He's actually showing pretty well because most times that rookies come in, they need that first split to kind of get up to speed. But he seems like he's just kind of coming out the gate firing on all cylinders. So that's pretty well. And probably helps that he has fucking Afro as his support.
I think we covered all the teams. Oh, Golden Guardians. I don't think I really touched. They surprised me. I thought they played great. Keith support. Oh my. Fucking hell, man! Everything everybody said about the guy not being that good. What do you expect? He's not a support. He's not.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the C9 game. He died a lot. But I also attribute that to the fact that you're playing Tom Kench, guy. Like that is your job, is to get teammates out of sticky situations, and you take the fall for that stuff. Granted, there was a lot of times that he just himself got caught out. There was times where he just had no fucking choice. Like you can't really stop a flash kick you into their fucking team kind of thing. Like you can't stop that. Like you're gonna die regardless. Like no matter who you are. But there was a lot of times where he himself was just trying to save teammates, which put him in bad positions. So I don't want to get too down on the guy because of that. Like yeah, I understand because he did play better when I think he was playing Braum in the other game versus 100 Thieves or whatnot. Like he still played pretty good on that, so I'm not too down on him. But just in general, like everyone else on Golden Guardians, like Hunter, closer, especially, man, that guy is really aggressive. Like I was super happy just to kind of see that, and I don't know if it was just him being that's just the way he plays the game, or if he was just like, hey, I want to get out here on the riff and make a name for myself and actually like start clapping these kids. Like he actually looked pretty good. Like I was happy for him.
I have very high hopes for him. I think he can actually be really good.
Yeah, I think he was fucking slapping Meteos around. Like he 4-buffed them at one point and whatnot. Like in the beginning game, like oh my god, like
back in the day, man. Back in the day, that would have won a game.
That should have been the end of the game for fucking Meteos, but he still was able to, have an impact and do some stuff like that, which I want to attribute to the fact that it's just like the current meta, just the way that jungle camps work and all that stuff, where it's like Closer was putting a lot of emphasis on trying to like counter jungle and take camps away, but it's like, given that camps are worth such less experience, it's not like you taking this camp away is going to have him like super down in XP. Like no, the camp wasn't given much experience in the first fucking place, and on top of the fact that camps respond super quick anyway, it's like you doing all that counter jungling, it wasn't that impactful. Like you had your biggest impact when you 4-buffed him, that was great, but after that you should have tried to transition that to the lanes and stuff like that. But he put a lot of emphasis on trying to like be in the jungle and taking Meteos' camps and all that stuff, which didn't really net him anything. Like it didn't give him any great lead at all. So it was just like at that point, like you got this lead and then you just kind of fell off, and it's just whatever at that point. But just in general though, I think Closer was like a really good person. Like he was a really good jungle. Like I actually want to watch Golden Guardians now because I want to see.
I just only want to watch for him. I literally just only watch for that guy.
I want to see. I want to still continue to watch Golden Glue. Like I think the guy had a pretty good week. Also, like his LeBlanc game, like that was just pretty fun to watch, and I just want to see NA mid do pretty well.
Okay. Do you have the LCS schedule up? Because I know you got to go to bed soon, and I have to go eventually soon. So let's go over that pretty quickly.
Yeah, we got the first.
What's the first day?
First ones is COG versus 100 Thieves,
Holy
and we got
shit.
Dignitas versus TL, Cloud9 versus Immortals, and then we got Golden Guardians versus Evil Geniuses.
What are these?
So, I can off the bat, man. Just I'm pretty sure 100 Thieves got that like Counterlogic. I don't think if this week if Counterlogic Gaming doesn't pick up these wins, I don't think they ever will. I don't think they're gonna like miraculously come back.
I think if they start 0-4, it's not gonna be some sort of fanatic run where they go like 12 wins and they're gonna make playoffs. I don't think it's gonna happen. 100 Thieves wins. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, 100 Thieves wins. The TL versus Dig.
Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. I think if Dig does beat TL, it does make him a lot more legit.
Yeah, they need if they can pick up this win, I think that's going to change a lot of people's perception of them, and it's going to get a lot of people talking. A lot of people talking about Dig. But they got to pick up this dub. I mean, even if they're using Fire, like it's still going to look good for these kids. Like that's something that you really want to pick up this win, and it's coincidentally everyone's talking about Dignitas and FlyQuest. They both go against TL this week.
Ooh,
this weekend.
Man.
So it's like this will be that test. Besides them going against Cloud9, this will be that first real test of a team. To see if you really are as good as people think you are, or you just crap. Who knows?
So that one is Dig versus TL. That's so hard though. Actually,
I think TL would still get them.
I'm gonna say Dig. I'll say Dig in this one.
Okay. All right. Next after that is Cloud9 versus Immortal.
All right. Next match.
Like I said, I mean, I think Cloud9 just looking the strongest out of everyone in the league right now. Not considering you have Fire or they went against Golden Guardians, but it's just in the way that they won. It didn't seem like it was like sloppy or you're just going back and forth. It was just clean games through and through. Like both games is just clean as fuck. Like they were playing controlled, they were playing precise. Like that's what I like to see. And so I'm not down on them just giving the opponents that they went against, but like I said, just the way that they won the game. Like I said, it was just clean games. So that's why I think they obviously will take over Immortals. Like I really want to see Licorice versus SOAS. Like I want to see that so bad. I want to see that shit. But obviously, yeah, I'm saying C9 is going to be Immortal.
I have no arguments for Immortals at all after what I saw this last week. They have to build some credit up for a lot of time.
Alltech makes the bottom lane exciting because he's not playing fucking Affilios for center, which I don't know is a detriment to the team or not. That it's like, oh, it's cool that you're playing Cassiopeia and Ezreal, but like when the meta is Affilios, MF, center, is that are you hurting your team more or like what are you doing? Because like that meta that you're playing was kind of last year, brother. Like, come on. The next game is Golden Guardians versus Evil Geniuses.
Oh my lord. That sounds like it could be really good, but then also sounds like it could be another 60-minute game.
I don't think Golden Guardians will let that happen. I mean, in hindsight, I'm going Golden Guardians for this match. Like, I actually think Golden Guardians is a good team. Like, I don't like FBI. I don't like the bot lane, but I think Hanser, Golden Glue, and Closer, like that's a really good pair. I feel like they're actually better than what people are giving them. Like just given the opponents they went against last week, they got some L's and whatnot, but I think they still look pretty good. It's just kind of how they want to play the game. So I think they're going to take it.
I'll say Evil Geniuses.
I don't know.
This will be that ramp up week. Now we're gonna see teams become teams. So that's day one, right? That's all day ones?
Yep.
All right, day two. Let's see what we got.
We got Evil Geniuses versus TSM, TL versus FlyQuest, 100 Thieves versus Cloud9, Immortals versus Golden Guardians.
Immortals versus Golden Guardians. Man, people, holy crap, Riot. What are you doing with these matches?
Gotta play them at some point. So, Evil Geniuses versus TSM.
Can this just be undecided?
That's why I want that to be like. I really
don't care. Guys, if we make a bet for these predictions, I'm sorry if we say undecided for some of them, because what do you want us to say? I just don't know. Fuck it.
They both
Fuck it, I'll just say TSM.
TSM should quotation marks win. But like just what you saw last week, like if that's something that they can kind of go back to scrims and go back to VOD reviews and kind of fix and figure out, because like in the first 10-15 minutes they look great. Like the team looks legitimately good. It's just I don't know what the fuck that mid game is or what the late game is. Like I don't know what they're doing there.
They don't even know what that is. They're just like I'll say TSM. It's since I have to pick something of it inevitably. Crap.
TL versus FlyQuest.
TL versus FlyQuest? That's actually not too bad.
I think that's actually heavily favored for TL. Like I think
Hedgie was not gonna Hedgie.
I think FlyQuest getting their dubs this week was like a lot of luck based. Like it could have went a lot of different ways. Like I just didn't think they looked typically strong and just how they played the game and whatnot. Besides like the Riven game, like that was just a beaut to watch. But I don't think they're really anything. I just think this week was just lucky. Like even if they have Ignore,
oh man, Hedgie is not gonna like Hedgie. Your FlyQuest team, you're riding with your Australian kangaroo thing they're going 0-4 this week. I'm gonna say TL win.
Probably. And next one is 100 Thieves versus Cloud9. I don't see there's any world where they don't abuse the fuck out of Ryoma. Like just seeing what if you can't beat Golden Glue, like I mean I'll say this and people will look at us like, man, but he's saying like Golden Glue sucks. Like I don't think Golden Glue sucks. It's just that like of the caliber of mids that are out there, Golden Glue is at the bottom comparable to everyone else. And it's just like when you're looking at Niski, who was round was second best mid laner last year, like I just don't see how you go against something like that and not get clapped. Like I don't know if Meteos is gonna try to camp the man's lane and hold him down, but I really feel like they're gonna abuse the fuck out of Ryoma, or just Ryoma just won't have the impact that he needs on that game. I just don't know what that's gonna look like. So I'm gonna say Cloud9. Yeah. Then we got Immortals versus Golden Guardians.
I'm actually gonna do undecided. I'm
going to say Golden Guardians. I think this week Golden Guardians is going to slide in with that 2-0. I think they're going to.
You convinced me. Golden Guardians are going to win.
Yeah, I think Golden Guardians. I'm high on this team. I think they're going to.
I'll say that they're not going to win because of Keith. Anytime I pick Golden Guardians, guys, they're not winning because of Keith. Like at all.
God, no. Then you got the marquee matches, which is FlyQuest versus Dignitas. I actually want to see that. I kind of wish that was one of the main games that was played before before these guys went against TL. But I think that's going to be a really good thing, just considering that all the hype, like, oh man, these guys are going to be fighting for that third position. So it's like you finally actually have. So like, if they both lose to TL, realistically, now they're sitting here legitimately fighting for like that third place. I think almost. No, maybe no, they wouldn't. But these are the two teams that are supposed to be so close together, like C9 and then these two guys. It's like, oh my god, so I'm actually wondering what this is gonna look like. I think Dignitas is gonna win it though.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Dignitas will pull on it through. Like, I just say I don't think FlyQuest is too good, honestly. And then the last one is TSM versus COG.
Holy crap! Back in the day, this would actually be a pretty interesting, hyped up match.
Yeah. Wasn't this supposed to be the rivalry?
No, I think Cloud9 and TSM was the actual rivalry. I think that this one was just pathetic. This was always not that good, honestly. Because most of the time, TSM just kind of stomped CLG. Like, all the times that I watched it, from when I started watching it, TSM just stomped them. It was like...
Well, I mean, back in, like, season, 2 or some shit like that? Like, back before, like, all these other teams started coming through, COG was that team. Like, they were the ones that were, like, getting the dubs up versus COG. Like, they were doing that. But, I mean, that rivalry is just so fucking long ago. Like, there's just so many better ones nowadays for them to even, like, talk about this one. So, I can get when people are just like, what, is this a rivalry? Like, no, not really anymore.
Yeah, because a rivalry implies that at some point, that rival could be better and, if not more, above you. And that's what Cloud and TSM are. Those are actual rivals. CLG and TSM, it's very favored toward TSM. I would say TSM win. I have no faith in CLG right now. My faith is dead on them right now. 0-4. Trash Logic Gaming. trying to buy me on Twitter with saying you're gonna put the old jerseys in your store again. Fuck you.
Yeah. So that's all the matches. Just before we end up.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just want to chime in on that whole 100 Thieves next thing. I think that's pretty.
Yeah. We there's like 5 more minutes. We can do that. Oof.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Like they're trying to bring in like just straight up NA talent, picking these kids up from high school and getting them into the. No, I ain't gonna say into the league, but just kind of into the groove of how the LCS works, or just how the team environment pro scene works and whatnot. I think that's like a really great fucking thing. Just because most of the time you're always just like taking these kids from solo queuing and trying to dump them into the academy, and I don't think that's needs to be the only way for you to get people into the pro scene. Like, I actually like that, hey, you're looking at these kids that are fucking 16, 17, 18 years old who can't realistically play on the main stage yet because of age restrictions and all that stuff, but you're already grooming them. So it's like, I don't mind having these kids sit with 100 Thieves for like the next like 2 years or something like that, where they're not playing on any main team or anything like that. But they're just learning. They're learning the game. They're learning what it is to be with the teams and all that stuff, so that whenever they do graduate, it's like, okay, hey, you can come in and join 100 Thieves now, or we can sell you off to some other team, and you're actually ready. Whereas like how we have it now, where kids come out of solo queue and they need to go to academy, and it's like they gotta sit in the academy for like 2 or 3 fucking years before they're ready for the LCS stage. It's like I love the fact that teams are 100 Thieves. It's just like skipping that whole academy section and getting these guys when they're in high school, because that's something that Korea has been doing, China has been doing, where they're getting kids straight out of high school, already have them signing contracts and and they're having them sign contracts before anybody can even get to these guys, and they literally just sit. They just scrim with the teams and they just do their normal fucking lives. But it's just like by the time they get out of school, they're ready for the LCK. Like they're ready to roar. Like I love that shit. So to see that a team is trying to do that in America, 100 Thieves trying to do that with these guys, like I'm happy to see that. Like I hope this is something that other teams will follow up on, because it could just be a great fucking thing. Like I think everyone should have, those kind of things if you're serious about trying to develop talent. Like this is what better way to fucking do it. But I don't know if other teams will follow suit on something like that. I think there's this thing called the USurp or some shit like that. That it's like this little lower league that plays competitive league, and there's a bunch of different random teams. And I think 100 Next is going to be in that tournament. I think they play on Tuesdays or something like that. So I'm definitely going to want to kind of like catch up on that and just kind of see like some of these other faces that we never ever heard of play, and just kind of see what that skill looks like.
Yeah, because if you guys have been watching League as long as I have, CLG has this backup mid laner. His name is Tuesday. I was actually, because I was watching CLG's little episode thing yesterday. Tuesday has been their backup
for a long time.
I'm gonna say 2016 he's been their backup, since you had like Challenger and shit. That's how far back I'm gonna say. Or at least earliest he has been there since 2017. Nobody knows who Tuesday is. Like,
Tuesday he's played in the academy.
No, it turns out like the community doesn't really know who he is.
Oh.
Because I have to watch this stuff for the channel and shit like that. But just people need to understand, like it's the thing with like new talent is that you can't play their first game, they suck, and then go, all right, that's your only shot. Fuck you, get off my team. You can't do that. Like, there's gonna be growing pains. Because there's growing pains with the more seasoned veteran players. So why do they get that? Why do they get that special treatment over these guys? I just don't think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have seen some really good NA talent players. Like, I really have, and it just kind of sucks that they never get shots.
Yeah, this is their way to do that without the team. Like, 'cause I don't think the teams are investing that much money into them. So, like, you're investing less money than you are into them than you are your academy team, but you're getting a better yield to an extent. from these players. It's just that their age restrictions and whatnot. I guess I'm pretty happy to see where this goes with these guys.
Other teams do it too. I hope all teams start doing this.
I hope so. Like, I know TSM, they have like their little mini team which has that sword guy on it, and I think Johnson was on it also. So I mean, like it's some teams are doing it. I hope others do it. I don't think they will, just because I think the orgs here are just really fucking like cheap. Like when it comes to stuff like I don't like on their main roster, they do whatever the fuck they got to do. But when it comes to Academy is viewed more as like I guess I'll do this shit because Riot is making me do this shit. But like if Riot wasn't making these guys do it, they would not have an Academy team. So it's like I wish people would kind of the orgs have to actually feel like, hey, this is actually worth it, versus just like, why do I want to put out more money for it? Like I'm not gonna do that. So hopefully something comes of this. I actually want to see what this looks like at next year time frame. Just kind of see an update on all this.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. People are like, well, they're only doing that because sometimes people do things because they're good people and they like wanting to see good in the world. It's not always because they want to do it for a malicious reason. Yes, the malicious reason is to make them better for the LCS. Oh my god, so horrible. You know what I mean? Like this is a good thing. Like, because the League community, we'll talk about this next week, is that the community just loves to just to hate, and it's actually bothered me to the point where I'll probably make a solo video about it too while talking to you guys about it, but I don't understand what's the need to hate just to hate? Why can't we just like, be proud somebody's doing something? You know what I mean?
I mean that's the League community, man.
Oh man,
People
anything
have
else?
shitty opinions.
It was great. It was great having you, man. It's always good having you on. Yeah, the main guy. Hedgie will be back next week, guys. Even though he's been having he's probably sucking off POE right now. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But anything you want to say before we close out, man?
Nah, that's all, bro.
That's it. Wave Life Esports signing out. See you later. Peace out, man.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.